Hello. Today we are creating a character using digital character sheet. I'm going to show you some of its features, but also we're going to be using the What's Old is New system and the old variant of that. For What's Old is New, there's three variants. There's the new, which is sci-fi. There's now, which is coming out soon, which is a modern era style game. And then there's old, which is traditional fantasy style. So today we're going to be creating a very archetypal character to both kind of show how to create a character in digital character sheet and to show the kind of character that we'll wind up with using this system when we try to create. Today it's going to be a regular old like halfling thief. So let's get started. First I'm going to change the mouse pointer, not because I don't like the glove, but just because I want that one for now. Great. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to load the template for old. So we're going to go find that. I'm going to hit load. It's going to clear the sheet and templates and old template right there. Okay, so immediately we see all of our stats and we see everything loaded right in, our skills and additional info and exploits, attacks, equipment, notes and bio, and dice roller when we get there. Great. So if we reference the character creation walkthrough, the very first thing that we have to do is note our starting attributes, which we already have because it's loaded in the template. Next, we choose a race, and for this we're going to load up a plugin that I've made for O.L.D. So we're going to hit this little plugin button, hit load plugin. We're going to find the plugin, which is right there. We're going to open it up. Now this plugin contains all of the open game content for O.L.D, which is darn near everything. So our race, we already know, we want it to be a small folk. So we're going to head over to here to skills and additional info. And here where we have race, I'm just going to remove that. And instead, I'm going to grab small folk. Now I have two options. I can either hit add item or just drag and drop it over. But here it lists everything, the whole entry for small folk. Great. So let's grab it, drag it, and drop it. Great. We'll close the plugin box and take a look at our race, small folk. All right. So after we've chosen a race, we have to apply all the race attribute adjustments, which are right here: agility, charisma, luck, and magic. One of the things that I didn't point out is when the plugin loaded, we see autofill mode changed to W.O.I.N, or What's Old is New. So when I enter in these adjustments, we're going to see it autofill in the dice roll values. So we'll start with agility and charisma. Agility plus, what was it? Plus 2, charisma plus 2. Great, so agility plus 2, and charisma plus 2. And the other two were luck plus 2 and magic plus 1. So luck plus 2 and magic plus, yeah, there we go, and magic plus 1. There we go, and we see the dice pool adjusted itself. Fantastic. Next, we have to choose 3 racial skills. So I'm definitely going to want stealth, diplomacy, and, well, we'll go with bluffing and brewing, because that sounds pretty cool. So stealth, bluffing, and brewing. So how do we do that? We're going to make sure that's selected and hit edit text. And we see here our skill choices. This is just BB code, which is bulletin board code. That's what gives it the italics and the bold, underline, and all that kind of sort of thing. Can mostly be ignored. So we're going to get rid of, we're going to start there at crafting. We're going to get rid of that. I'm holding Control and Shift. Shift to select what I'm using my arrow for, and then Control to do full text blocks. So we're going to get rid of fishing, appraisal, cooking, And we're going to keep brewing. We'll get rid of slings. I'm thinking I want our small folk to use daggers for sure. I mean, we're going stereotypical. So slings, we get rid of that. We keep stealth, and we get rid of diplomacy, and we keep bluffing. Great. Brewing, stealth, and bluffing. So we're going to go up to our skills and mark those down really quick. Just delete this stuff here. Brewing, stealth, and what was the last one? Bluffing. Bluffing. All right, and we'll pretty that up later. Fantastic. What's next? We have to note all the listed race exploits. This is where the plugin really shines, because you can take things like spells or exploits for W.O.I.N, and you can include them in a plugin that you just drag and drop all of the content that you need to have on your sheet. So we'll get rid of exploit name, remove, and we'll just grab stubborn, and we'll grab evasion. And we'll take a look at those. So stubborn. Difficult to enchant, they gain a +4 bonus to their mental defense. That's great. We'll have to remember that when we are doing our defenses. We'll go over here to mental defense, and we'll give it a +4 so we don't forget. Next is they're nimble and adept at dodging. They gain a +2 bonus to either ranged or melee defense. I'm thinking melee defense, since he's going to be up in your face stabbing. So we'll go with melee defense. +2 so we don't forget. Okay. Choose a hook and note it in your descriptor. So a hook in W.O.I.N is something that you come up with completely on your own. It's something that we're going to want to remember our character by, or something that is unique to him that identifies him, so, or her. So I'm thinking, let's see, what's his hook? Likes shiny gold objects. So we'll head over to notes and bio, and we'll say likes shiny gold objects, explanation points. Great. Okay, next is we choose 5 careers starting with an origin, and then 4 further careers. Okay, so we delete this career name origin, remove, and we delete this. Okay, and we've got our skills and our race. All right, we go back here and we start with an origin. So, let's see. Our small folk started life as a noble. Because why not? So we'll grab noble, drag it over. And we'll grab silver spoon. Ooh. Your wealthy upbringing means that you start with start play with 1,000 bonus gold coins and a superior quality set of clothing. So we'll head over to exploits, silver spoon. We will note that in our equipment, 1,000 gold and superior. If I knew how to spell, superior clothing. Great. And we'll put it on. Cool. Silver spoon. Noble. Okay. So the first thing we do for our career is we roll to see how many years we spent as a noble. So 2d6 plus 6 years. So we go over to dice roller. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2d6 plus 6 is 16 years. All right. Not bad. So he's 16 years old. We say 16 years. Okay, and now we do our attribute adjustments. So logic, charisma, luck, and reputation. Okay, logic, charisma, luck, and reputation. So logic, charisma, luck, and reputation. There we go. Now, of course, you can always come in and change the description and make it something that you want. So you had a privileged upbringing surrounded by luxury. Yeah, that's okay. How about you were born to a duke of, you were born to the Duke of, and this obviously would depend on your setting, but Lane. Born to the Duke of Lane, and were raised in a rich household. Yeah, that works. So skill choices. Now for careers, we choose 2 skills, 2 of the listed skills, and advance one by each one by 1 point. And it's also important to note that you can always select a defensive skill instead of one of the listed skills. And the defensive skills are like dodging, foresight, and acrobatics or something like that. He's definitely going to choose dodging for one of his. Maybe he spent his life as a noble, these 16 years, dodging his father, who was oppressive. So, our other choices are artistic, gaming, carousing, linguistics, leadership, religion, and swords. Carousing, for sure. Dodging, dad, and partying. So, we say dodging and carousing, and we'll delete the rest. Great. Let's add those to our skills, dodging and carousing. If I could type, dodging, carousing. Fantastic. Great, so now we choose our next career. We want to be an assassin, a thief. So we have an assassin here, but it's got a prerequisite of stealth. I have stealth because I chose it. Do I want to be a straight assassin, or do I want to be like a burglar? So maybe started off as a noble, ditched life as a noble, became a burglar, and then later on became an assassin. So let's see, we'll take at least 1 rank or 1 career level in burglar. And we will go ahead and roll for that. 1d6 years. 3. So he spent 3 years as a burglar. Let's do our attribute adjustments. Agility, intuition, luck, and reputation. Agility, intuition, luck, and reputation. Okay, he's making a name for himself. Let's choose 2 skill choices. Okay, I see stealth. And we'll take dodging again. Okay. Stealth and dodging. So let's update our skill choices here, dodging and stealth. So we've got dodging times 2 and stealth times 2. Okay. And then we get to choose an exploit. So the origin exploit of Noble only had 1 exploit to choose from, but our burglar career has several exploits to choose from. So let's see. An exploit is basically a feat or something that you can do that doesn't require necessarily a roll to accomplish. It's something that you can just do. So lockpicking, that's actually... I get a plus 1d6 bonus to attempts to pick locks. I mean, yeah, that pretty much makes sense. What are the other ones? Cat burglar. No bonus, no penalties when you climb. Sixth Sense. So that has to do with spotting and disarming traps. Climber requires cat burglar and a grand heist to get me even more money. I don't necessarily need that money because I was a noble. So we'll stick with locksmith for sure. And we'll bring that over to our exploits. Locksmith. Great. So next up, do I want to have him spend another career rank in burglar or go straight to assassin? I really want that sixth sense when it comes to traps. So let's take another career grade in burglar. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to head over to burglar. What I like to do is just kind of add a parentheses 2 so I know how many career ranks I've taken in it. The burglar needs 1d6 years. So we'll roll for that and we'll add it to our 3. So another 2 years. He spent learning how to detect traps and such. So he's up to 5 years. We're going to increase our agility, intuition, luck, and reputation by 1. And I'm going to take dodging and stealth again. Times 2. And times 2. Great. So let's go do agility, intuition, luck, reputation. Let's see if I can remember those. Agility, intuition, luck, and reputation. Great. And dodging and stealth. Stealth is now up to a 3, and dodging is also up to a 3. Great, so far we have a noble small folk who was born to the Duke of Lane and raised in a rich household and spent his years dodging his father and carousing in, probably drinking underage. And after 16, he spent the next 5 years burglaring, because why not? He became a master thief, able to infiltrate the most secure of locations. Fantastic. Now, we'll say he was approached by some nefarious guild or patron who wanted him to do a job, an assassination job, and now he will become an assassin. So you'll begin to see that this is a lot more than just, I'm a halfling thief. There's nothing wrong with that. And that certainly is a viable, I enjoy that sometimes, but this really creates an in-depth character that we can have a backstory for. We can craft his upbringing, his life, and then when we're done with it, we have this really fully fleshed out character with a life path, reasons for his skills, and reasons for his attributes. And if we want to, we can use the years that we've rolled to get an approximate age that our character is at. We can always change that and say he's younger or older. But in this situation, I think I'm going to keep what I've rolled. So let's take a rank of assassin. Okay. 1d6 years. Let's check it out. 5 years. Okay. So he spent the next 5 years working for a patron. So we will delete the description that's here. And we'll say, you were hired by, come up with a name, Harold, a rich patron, to assassinate a diplomat. Why not? To assassinate a diplomat. This started you down a dark path. Cool. All right, we know we've got our prerequisites of stealth, so attributes: agility, intuition, willpower, and reputation. So agility +1, intuition, agility, intuition, willpower, and reputation. Okay. We're going to choose 2 skills. One of them is definitely going to be stealth. Now we need to get some skill in melee weapons for sure. If he's going to be using daggers, this is the time. So we'll keep stealth and get rid of all these. We'll keep melee weapon. Now the bracketed skill choices have multiple options. So you use that as a category. We'll get rid of those. And our melee weapon is going to, we'll just get rid of that and we'll call it daggers. Or whatever your setting would apply for. I think daggers is a pretty ubiquitous thing. So stealth and daggers. Fantastic. Let's add those to our skills. Stealth is now ×4. And daggers is now 1. Great. And we have to pick... Oh, did we pick a second? We didn't grab our other exploit for burglar. Let's go back and do that. Burglar, it was going to be 6th sense for the traps. We forgot to pop that in there. There we go. There it is. And now we get to pick our first assassin exploit. Pretty sweet. So let's see. Surprise attack. If you successfully hit a target before it becomes aware of you, you gain a +2d6 damage bonus. That's awesome. 2d6 damage is very high in this system, so I'm thinking that's definitely what we're going to go for first. But let's see what else we got. Death blow requires surprise attack. It increases the damage to +46. Wow. Okay. Poison resistance. Yeah. Quiet kill. Any target you kill during the ambush turn dies silently, or weak point. Ignore soak. Sweet. I already know what I'm doing here. Surprise attack first. Awesome. Now we take another rank of assassin. We're going to roll that 1d6 again, and it's another 3 years. So 8. We increase agility, intuition, willpower, and reputation. Agility, intuition, willpower, right? Willpower and reputation. Okay. And by doing it this way, we are easily able to go back and add up our bonuses and make sure we've got our numbers right. Let's add the 2 to there. We've got it. We're going to take stealth and daggers again. Although if I wanted to see the list, I could just pull up the plugin. Assassin is stealth, thievery, perception. You know, I'm actually not going to take stealth again. I'm going to take perception this time. So that will stay at 1. Daggers will stay at 2, and then we'll add a perception skill. Perception, very important. Great. Let's add those to our skills. So here we go. I don't remember if I added stealth already, so let's see. I get 1 from Smallfolk, 2 from burglar, and 1 from assassin. So yes, we've already got stealth. That's right, because I took it back. So daggers, we're going to gain 1, and perception, we're going to gain 1. So daggers ×2, and perception is 1. Fantastic. Now we get to pick our next exploit, which is going to be Death Blow. Right, and I noticed that here it says you gain a +2d6 damage bonus, and here it says it, but it's not bolded. You can always go in and select the text that you want to have bolded, increases to +4d6, and use the regular hotkeys that you use in like Microsoft Word or anything like that to do bold, italics, underline, or I think that's it. So Control B, boom. Increases to plus 4d6. Awesome. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. We are done with our careers. We've got all of our skills, which we can make those much prettier. So let's do that. I like to keep the ones that are highest on top. So we'll grab stealth, cut that, paste. We'll grab dodging, paste, and we grab daggers, paste. Get rid of those commas, and the rest of you are just 1. Okay, so we'll capitalize each one of these, make it look good. And it's not necessary, but I like to make it look good. Carousing and perception. And then if you need a chart, you can reference the W.O.I.N charts for skills and attributes, but the ranks that you have in a skill are the same, use the same chart as the ranks you have in attributes. So if I need to know what a 4 in stealth is, I can come over here and my logic is 4. So I'd know that that's a 2d6 dice pool for stealth. So let's come over here. We'll say we've got stealth 4 and it's a dash 2d6. 3 is also a 2d6 dash 2d6. 2 unfortunately is still only a 1d6. That's okay, and the rest of you are 1d6. So we'll grab that, and we'll just paste, paste, paste. Let's make these bold. Double-clicking and pressing Control B. And that looks much, much nicer. Fantastic. So while we're ahead, let's save and make sure we don't lose everything we've got here. So I'll save it in my old folder, and we'll call him Gary the Thief. Gary the Thief. Save. Okay, what is next? Now we get to select aim or feint plus one other exploit of our choice for which we qualify. That would be one other universal exploit for which we qualify, I assume. So we're definitely taking feint. Feint is essentially an action you can take that will give you a plus 1d6 to your attack roll. So it's in combat in the plugin. We'll scroll down. There is feint. So we'll grab feint, and now we can pick one other exploit. Let's see what's under utility. Always prepared. Requires a logic of 8. We do not have that. Analytics, logic 6, we definitely don't have that. Arcane, burst of speed. Ooh, what's that? Okay, that requires a riding skill. That's a mounted thing. Pep talk, charisma 6. What's our charisma? 6. Give our allies a plus 1d6 to the initiative in the ensuing combat. Nah, because I'm going to want to be ambushing people on my ambush turn, not pep talking. Quick mount and quick stand. Okay, let's head over to combat. The Achilles heel, logic 5. Nope. Aim. No, that's the same as feint, but for ranged weapons. Blinding attack. Ooh. Yes, that might be one that we want. Let's see, is there anything here that looks really cool? Deadly strike. Requires agility or strength plus 5. You inflict additional with a successful hit for... Oh yeah, that instantly increases our damage by 1d6. That, with my death blow, I'm going to be dealing some massive damage. All right, so let's head over here. Exploits. Deadly strike. And we definitely qualify for that. Great. What's next? Choose one trait based on your highest or lowest attribute and note that in your descriptor. Now, traits are one thing that I do not have here in the plugin. Maybe I will add them next. Maybe in with the races or the universal exploits will have traits there. But for now, we're going to have to copy and paste them from the from the content that's available. So let's see. Our trait. Let's head down to traits. So trait is a thing in WOIN that basically further differentiates your character, or it really exemplifies one of your really high or really low statistics that gives it some personality. So I always like to choose my lowest one because I like the idea of focusing on my negative attributes rather than my positive ones. So I've got an endurance of 3. So let's see what we can find for endurance 3. So lowest attributes, endurance. So you roll a 1d6, and I'll either wind up with coughing or asthmatic or anemic. Those both sound terrible, but traits do give you a positive exploit that you'll have. So for instance, the asthmatic, your poor health often prevents you from undertaking extended physical exertion. However, you have developed coping strategies which enable you to recover quickly from hardship. Once per day, you may gather your strength and determinedly recover 1d6 health. Actually, I kind of like that. He was a noble. Well, he wasn't noble, then he was a burglar, then he was an assassin. So maybe he's not all that asthmatic or anemic. What was the other one? It was coughing. You don't want to be coughing when you're stealthing, so forget that. So we're going to go to our highest, which is agility. So for agility, we'll either be nimble, deadeye, or ambidextrous. Now, I like to let my players choose which of the traits they get rather than rolling, but we're going to roll just because why not? As long as... Yeah, if it's deadeye, we're not going to keep it because that's a ranged shot and we're not ranged. So let's see what we get. We got a 6, which is ambidextrous. Sweet. Ambidextrous is a really good one for an assassin to have. So we're going to grab that, copy it, and bring it right over to here. Paste it. Get rid of that. This auto wraps, so I'm going to hit end. Get rid of that, and then delete. Dual wielding, end, and okay, there we go. We're set. I want to italicize all that. I'm going to hold Shift, press Home, and then Control I. And there we go. You're able to use both hands with ease. You do not pay the negative 2d6 penalty when dual wielding weapons or using a double weapon. That is awesome. So I can use 2 daggers, ambidextrous. Great. Let's save. Gary the Thief. Name, Gary. He is a male smallfolk assassin. Grade 5. Okay, what is left? We've got our trait. Let's see. Determine your age and apply any age exploits. So let's see what our age is. We're going to keep it. So we are 16 plus 5 is 21 plus 8 is 29-year-old smallfolk. So he's 29 years old. He's grade 5. And if you look it up, the max dice pool for grade 5 characters is 5d6. Our descriptor: Gary the Thief grew up in a privileged home with a duke, as, now this doesn't auto wrap, so we're gonna, with a duke as his father. He was never lacking in resources. This pampered life, however, did not sit well with Gary, and he chose to forge a different path. He left home and began stealing, probably mostly to spite his father and his upbringing. So he left home and began stealing in spite of his father and previous lifestyle. Eventually, he was hired by a patron to assassinate a diplomat. This began Gary's journey down the dark path of killers for hire. Fantastic. Great. So that's it's a brief backstory. It's really simple. Not a whole lot to this. Didn't take me very long at all to create this character, 30 minutes? And I have a full backstory when I just started with the concept of having a halfling thief, or in our case, a smallfolk assassin. And it turned into, started as a noble, became a thief, and then became an assassin. And we can fill in the blanks. Of course, you can spend more time coming up with a more elaborate backstory, working with your GM on the setting info and all of that sort of stuff. But here we have a fairly competent smallfolk assassin. Now, of course, the next step is to get your, to calculate your derived statistics. We've already done that because the sheet did it for us. And the skills is another one of the derived statistics. Although we haven't done our speed and defense and all of these things. So why don't we go ahead and do that? So, derived statistics. So first we start with our health. Now, normally you roll your health. You add your endurance dice pool and your willpower dice pool, and you roll your health. I always let my players take max health at first level, or in this system, at 5th grade, at our first. When you roll your character, I let you take max health. So I'm going to do that here. 2d6 plus 2d6, 4d6, that'd be 24 health. So we've got 24 health. Next is our speed. You need to determine your regular speed and your climb speed. So let's see, our regular speed is equal to the size of our strength dice pool plus our agility dice pool. So our speed is going to be 5. Now in W.O.I.N, it's 5-foot increments, so I can move 25 feet per move action that I take. So let's see, and then for climbing and swimming and all of that sort of stuff, we have that. So we'll come down here to movement / speed, and we'll hit into climbing. We'll say that I let my players round up, so we'll say 3. 3. 0 G and high G don't apply in fantasy, unless they do. Why not? Our jump height and distance. So let's see, your horizontal jump, so my jump distance is equal to twice my agility attribute in feet. So 18 feet is my jump distance, and this assumes at least a 10-foot run-up. So this isn't just a standing jump distance. For that, the values are halved. So I could say 18.9. And then my jump height is equal to your strength attribute in feet. So he can jump 3 feet high. And from running, and then 2 feet high from not running. Okay. I'm not a very strong jumper, but that's okay. our carry increment. So there's two carry values that we have here. Actually, I need to change this in the sheet, in the template, from increment to max, because we have our increment labeled up there. So our carry increment is equal to our strength plus our endurance multiplied by 10. So 3 plus 3 multiplied by 10 is 60 pounds. Right? Doesn't seem like a lot, but that's not our max. Our max is actually going to be 50 times our strength attribute. So 50 times 3 is 150 pounds. That's our max carry. What the carry increment is if you are carrying, so if Gary is carrying 60 pounds, he's got full speed. But if he's carrying 61 pounds, he loses 1 speed. So his speed goes from 5 or 25 feet per action to 4 or 20 feet per action. Up to, I think it's, yeah. So basically, until either you run out of speed or you've reached your max carry, which for him, he's going to reach his max carry long before he runs out of speed. So the next is initiative. And we use our intuition dice pool, and if we have any skills in tactics or reactions, then we add those, and we don't have any skills in tactics or reaction. So our initiative is going to be 3d6. Perception, I don't have a spot for that, but we do have an open spot right here, so let's add a new entry, and we'll call it perception. And our perception is intuition plus the perception skill if we have any skills in it. So we have 1d6, so our perception skill is 4d6. Great. And you can also make a note of if you have dark sight or fey sense and so on and so forth. And you could do that here. Do we have dark sight as a small folk? I do not think so. No, we do not have dark sense or dark sight. Okay, next is our defenses. So for melee defense, we use the highest, we use our dice pools, and then we follow this chart that they have here. So for melee defense, we use the highest of our strength and agility for sure, and that's 3d6. Okay, and then we add any skills that we have. We took dodging for this purpose. And then if we have any high quality equipment, which we don't have any yet, that's not going to apply. So for our melee defense, we're going to take dodging and our agility. So what's our dodging at? 2d6. So our agility is 3d6. So we look at the chart at the entry for 5d6, and we see we have a defense of 18. Plus 2 for being a small folk. Ooh, and it looks like we get a defense adjustment by size. So that might have changed in the errata. I think it's plus 2 now. I'll double check that. Okay, yeah, so I double checked it, and it is small is a plus 2 bonus to your defense for being small. So we head over here, we look at our small folk, and he is indeed small. And I'm going to assume that the evasion, this does not encompass this defense adjustment by size. This is simply because they are small folk, and they are nimble and adept at dodging. So he's only going to get this plus 2 bonus to his I made it melee, so let's change that to his melee defense. To melee defense. Okay, so ultimately we actually get a plus 4 to our base value of 18. Bringing us up to a hefty 22 melee defense, which, by the way, at grade 5 is very high. Now, that is capped, though, and I have to check. If the final score is less than 10, increase it to 10. Your defense score is capped by your maximum dice pool. Multiply your maximum dice pool by 4. Your defense cannot exceed this number. So our max dice pool is actually 5d6 times 4 is 20. So we can't have 22. We can't get the full benefit of being small and a halfling yet. We can once we get a grade up and we increase our max dice pool to 6d6. So for now, that is 20, and we'll make a note of that. Here we'll just say notes, and we'll say is capped at 20 defense until until max dice pool. Max dice pool increases. There we go. Nice little spot for our notes. There we go. Okay, so our range defense uses just our agility, which is great because that's all I want to use anyway. So 3d6, we add dodging, brings us up to a 5d6, and then our adjustment by size is +2. So actually we're at 20 there, but that one's not capped. We'll make sure we make a note of that. Melee defense, not ranged. It's capped at 20 melee defense until max dice pool increases. Okay, great. Now our mental defense uses the highest of our intuition, logic, and willpower. So intuition, logic, no. Willpower, no. Intuition, 3d6. And we can add bravery, concentration, conviction, discipline, leadership, meditation, psychology, religion, or rulership. I don't think we have any of those skills. We do not. So we stick with our 3d6. And for a 3d6, we have 11. Plus 4 for being a small folk gives us a 15 mental defense. So our defenses are really high. Our damage is really high. I'm feeling really good about this character, about Gary the Thief. I guess we should name him Gary the Assassin. And that is it, unless we want to calculate our attacks, which, until we have our equipment, isn't going to be that feasible. Let's do just one dagger. Let's give him a dagger and see what his attack is going to be with a regular old dagger. Not high quality, not anything like that. So we'll head over to weapons and we'll check out dagger. Okay, so our knife/dagger, it's listed as a knife/dagger, that's why I didn't see it at first, has a damage value of 1d6 plus 3. So let's head over here to equipment. We'll give ourselves a knife/dagger. Which I don't know if that slash will stay. Let's call it knife-dagger. And there we go. We'll head over to exploits and attacks, and we'll give us a new attack entry. Melee weapon name. We'll just call it dagger. Okay. Now our attack roll for our dagger is part of our derived statistics here. It's really simple. I know I'm going to be using my agility plus my skill in daggers. But let's just make sure. So, melee attacks use strength or agility. We know we're going to use agility. And then you add your skill with the weapon. So it's just like any other ability check in the system. You get the core stat used. In this case, it's agility. And then you add to that dice pool any skills that you have that are relevant. So for us, we have 1d6 in daggers. So our attack roll is going to be 4d6. So attack roll, 4d6. The damage for the dagger is, it was 1d6 plus 3. And we then add, to that base damage, we add we can choose. You can choose to add either the size of your strength dice pool, you know, how hard you're hitting with it, or you can choose to add the size of the dice pool that you have using the relevant skill. And this only applies to your melee attacks. For strength, we would get +2. And for dagger skill, we would get +1. So we're obviously going to use our strength for that. So we'll say +2 for strength. So 1d6 +5 +2 for strength. 1d6 +3 base weapon damage. Just so we are fully aware of what's going on. Okay, the type is going to be, I believe it should be piercing damage. I want it to be piercing damage. Knife, dagger, knife, knife, dagger, knife, dagger, knife, knife, dagger. There it is. It is indeed piercing damage. If I could spell today, piercing. The size of it is, so it is tiny. Size, tiny. Weight, probably like a pound. Weight is 1 pound. Oh, and it also is a thrown weapon. So, thrown, and then it has parentheses 3. Let's see what thrown means, and we will copy that down in our weapon description. Here we go. A melee weapon with this trait can be thrown with the noted range increment. Okay, so thrown 3 has a range increment of 3. Okay, so it can be thrown without any penalty to the attack roll. So maybe we'll stock up on a few of these daggers. We'll use them as ranged weapons as well. Thrown. Alright, that looks messy. Thrown, bold. And we do end, delete, space, end, delete, space, and delete. Get rid of that. End, delete, space, end, delete, end. And there we go. Okay. Fantastic. Let's make that look a little bit better. Attack roll, bold, 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 bold. Oops. Bold, bold. There we go. So there is our dagger, 1d6 +5. But don't forget, our so that damage might seem really low, right? But when we go and we check our exploits here, we've got surprise attack and death blow and deadly strike. So potentially, let's see. If I were to stealth, it's going to be an agility stealth check, right? So agility 3d6, stealth 2d6. I max out my roll at 5d6. All right, now that's versus, so there's a 23. That's a really good roll. That's versus an opposing person's perception check. So what's my perception? My perception is 4d6. So let's roll a 4d6 against myself. I am completely hidden against myself. I rolled a 14 against my 23 to hide stealth check. I will position myself behind myself and make a surprise attack. So if you successfully hit a target before it becomes aware of you, you gain a +2d6 damage bonus. Now, while I am unnoticed and I am attacking, I gain a bonus to hit. So, and that can go up and over my maximum dice pool limit. So combat, important positional effects. And if we are flanking the if we're sneaking or target is unaware, we get a +2d6 to our attack to hit. So that puts me actually up to a 6d6 to hit, because if you remember, for our knife attack, our dagger, we've got a 4d6 for the attack roll, but we're sneaking behind, we get a +2d6 to hit. Great. So let's attack myself. What's my melee defense? It's a 20. That's pretty high. So let's attack. Here we go, 6d6. Oh, I missed with the first attack. And now, I'm seen. I've been made aware. Or they've been made aware of me. So I lose my 2d6 bonus. I'll attack again, and I miss. All right, let's do that same scenario again because I want to hit. So there we go. We hit with a 28. We hit with a critical hit too. Nonetheless, no less. 3 6s. That's a critical hit. So let's see what our damage is going to be. It is 1d6 plus 5. So we'll do 1, and this is where creating your own roll comes in handy. 1d6 plus 5. This is dagger damage. Okay. Dagger damage, 1d6 plus 5. We'll go into mod mode, and we will add some d6s to this because of our exploits. Surprise attack. We hit from behind. We get a plus 2d6 damage bonus. Death blow increases that to 4d6. Deadly strike increases that to 5d6. That is awesome. That's our bonus. 5d6. So in total, we're dealing 66 plus 5 damage. Let's see what we get. 20 points. And that's a terrible. Actually, that's an average roll. 20 points of damage. I have 24 health. I would probably be wearing leather armor. Give me a soak of 3 or 4. So I would negate 3 or 4 of that. I almost killed myself with 1 hit. And that is a kind of roll. Let's roll it again. 25 on that one. Now, I forgot to mention, too, that these explode, right? Exploding dice. You roll the maximum amount on the die, and that explodes. You roll the maximum again, and you roll it again, and you roll it again, so on and so forth. Because I got a critical hit. So, if I were to take this damage I just rolled, 25, and re-roll those 2 6s, I'm going to add 2d6 now to my damage of 25. And we'll keep an eye on those 6s. I got another 6. So I added 9. That's a 34. We're going to re-roll one of those 6s because we got a 6. 34 plus 6 is 40. Plus another 5 is 45 points of damage with 3 explosions. Or 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 explosions. Now that's very rare to get that much exploding damage, and so on. But Gary at grade 5 is dealing lots and lots of damage when he is stealthed. When he's not stealthed, not so much. But that's his thing: stealthing, hiding, dodging. So this was a lot of fun creating Gary the Assassin with everybody. There are further things that we could do. I'm not going to do now, but you can go in and buy him some superior armor or weapons and so on and so forth. A thieves kit, and shine him up a little bit. Get him some nice things. He was a noble after all. So thank you all for watching. And I hope that this encourages you to at least check out the WOIN, the What's Old is New system, and maybe give it a shot, pick up the PDF over at DriveThru. And I hope this has also been a good tutorial on how to use digital character sheet in a practical application, creating a character. See y'all later.